Hello, greetings to everybody. I hope all of you are doing fine. So this is Professor Jun Cajigal, and I would like to welcome all of you to this online lecture on science, technology, and society. So for this video, we shall be focusing on the historical foundations of science and technology. But before we go into the details of our online lesson, don't forget to like and share this video so that we could reach more people, especially the students out there, so that they would be inspired and they would be engaged to love the sciences. Also, don't forget, malaking tulong po sa akin to, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Science Guy, Professor Jun Cajigal. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you would be updated on our future videos. Alright, so let us now go into the details of the historical foundations of science, technology, and its impact to our society. So at the end of this lesson, we need to answer the following. So when did technology began? What were the first inventions? And how did science and technology impact humans? So we will start our tracing of the historical foundations of science and technology during the Paleolithic Age, or what we call as the Old Stone Age. That's between 500,000 BC up to 10,000 BC. Alright, so how do we characterize the Paleolithic Age or the Old Stone Age? So this archaeological period is characterized by the earliest known stone tools. So our prehistoric ancestors during the Old Stone Age, they were the first to carve stones and use them as tools. And these are some of the artifacts during the Paleolithic Age. So stone axes, also we have bone needles and heart sites. So the people gave us the first stone tools during the Paleolithic Age. The Paleolithic era or the Old Stone Age began when our ancestors first made stone tools. And these tools were used to make their lives easier. So the people during the Paleolithic Age were able to carve stones into geometric shapes and use them as tools. Alright, so they were able to use these tools to make their lives easier. Alright, and these are just some samples of the stones that they carved, and they use this as tools. And by attaching these stones, especially the pointed ones, to sticks, they were able to make weapons out of them so that they can hunt animals. But before they could hunt animals, they need to observe the behavior of the animals. So if you will notice in this illustration, we have our ancestors, our prehistoric ancestors, observing the behavior of the woolly mammoth. So by observing the behavior of the woolly mammoth, they can strategize or they can plan so that they can hunt the woolly mammoth effectively. So these people during the Paleolithic Age or the Old Stone Age, they hunted in groups, they strategize and they plan so that they can hunt the woolly mammoth effectively. Alright, so that's how we characterize the Old Stone Age, using those stone tools as weapons for hunting. Okay, so our prehistoric ancestors during the Paleolithic or the Old Stone Age observed the animals that they intend to hunt so that they can strategize and to enable them to hunt the animal effectively. And they ate not only meat, but they also gathered plants. And our prehistoric ancestors during the Paleolithic age, our ancestors were able to gain some knowledge of botany by classifying plants as edible or poisonous. And they did that through trial and error. So, pag kumain sila ng berry at walang nangyari, then that berry is edible. Pag kumain sila ng berry at sumakit yung tiyan or namatay, then that berry is poisonous. So that's how they classified plants through trial and error. They classified plants as edible or poisonous. So they gained some knowledge of botany. And our prehistoric ancestors, after consuming the resources of the area, or after consuming all the plants, and they have hunted most of the animals, they will transfer to another place. So that means that our ancestors during the Paleolithic age, they exhibited a nomadic lifestyle. Our ancestors during the Paleolithic age were nomads. So our prehistoric ancestors were nomads. So they hunted animals and also they gathered plants. Alright, so that's how we characterize the Paleolithic age or the Old Stone Age. So what was now the impact of the Paleolithic age on our history? So because they ate not only meat, but they also ate plants, so that means that they had improved diets. And the result of this improved diet would be a healthier body. So mas naging healthy siya, yung mga tao nun, because of that improved diet. And because of this, they were able to increase in number, dumami sila. So this improved diet enabled early humans during the Paleolithic age to increase their number, and pag mas marami sila, that would improve their security. So the more people in a certain area, then they are more protected from dangers like predatory animals. So this increase in number also enhanced their security. So that's how we characterize the people during the Paleolithic or the Old Stone Age. Alright, so next we have the Mesolithic or the Middle Stone Age. So that is between 10,000 BC to 4,000 BC. So how do we characterize the Mesolithic age? So this is the period between the Paleolithic and the Neolithic age. And this is associated with the rise of the dominance of microlithics. Now, what are microlithics? These are small stone tools. So, the Mesolithic age is actually characterized by the dominance of small stone tools. So, the artifacts under the Mesolithic age are as follows. So, the people during that time engaged in leather work. So probably they made use of the hide or the skin of animals and used the leather probably for clothing or shelter. They also engage in basketry work because they have those small tools so that they can make baskets. Also, they make use of those small stone tools and use them to fish. So they made the fishing tackle para makahuli sila ng isda. Right? We still have the stone axes but much smaller, and they made wooden objects and canoes. And the people during the Mesolithic age, they came up with the first bow and arrow. Sila yung unang naka-invento ng pala. And the people during the Mesolithic age, they were able to domesticate animals. So, nagkaroon sila ng mga pets. So, they domesticated the cattle for food, and they also domesticated the wolves and turned them into dogs. Alright, so domestication of animals and also the planted crops. So they learn how to plant. Alright, so again, when we speak of microlithics, these are small stone tools. And this is typical of the Mesolithic technology, such as fish hooks, harpoon tips, and dart tips. So the technology reflects shift from focus on herd game hunting to more varied and specialized activities. Meaning, because of these small stone tools, they engage themselves in more specialized activities. No, like kasi gumawa sila ng fish hooks. So some engage in fishing, yung iba naman nag-basketry work, yung iba nag-leather work. So because of this shift in focus from game hunting to some other activities because of these microlithics. All right? So that's how we characterize the Mesolithic age. So they made very small stone tools. They engaged in leatherworks. Kaya meron silang mga damit made of animal skin. All right, and probably they also use the animal skin for their shelter, and also they were able to domesticate animals, and they also learn how to plant. Okay, so they developed agriculture for the first time. They learned how to plant crops and to domesticate animals. And because of this, they need to record their food gathering activities in order for the skill and the knowledge to be passed on to the next generation. So how did they achieve such documentation? Well, they make paintings in their caves. So makikita yan sa mga cave paintings of the people during the Mesolithic age. So they made canoes, and the tools that they made were more specialized, no, and maliliit sila. So again, we call them microlithics. Yan, no? So maliliit lang yung mga stone tools. That's how we characterize the Mesolithic age. So what was now the impact of this to our society? Now, because of the domestication of animals and the development of agriculture, this led to a more settled lifestyle. So that means they have already a stable food supply. They don't need to hunt and transfer from place to place. They already have a stable food supply. Nandyan na yung mga cattle. So, they will just choose. Nandun na yun and kakainin na lang nila. And they learn how to plant. So they don't need to gather wild fruits and berries. So nandiyan na yung mga halaman. Alright, so this led to a more settled communities. So because of that, dumami sila, and this led to what? A more increase in population. Their communities became larger. Siguro naging villages na rin yun, no? Right? And again, they need to document their activities, their food gathering activities, and they recorded that through their cave paintings, like this painting right here. So, kitang-kita rito yung mga cattle that they domesticated. Alright? And yun, may mga tao. So, by recording these food gathering activities, they were able to pass on the skills to the next generation. Alright, so that's how we characterize the Mesolithic age. And we have the New Stone Age or the Neolithic Age. So this is between 4000 BC to 2300 BC. So how do we characterize the Neolithic or the New Stone Age? So this period is characterized by the development of agriculture. So though agriculture started during the Mesolithic period, it was during the Neolithic age that agriculture really flourished. And an increased emphasis on year-round settlement. So mas dumami yung population, and because they have already a stable food supply, yun, mas dumami yung population nila. They learn to settle down. So some of the artifacts that are associated during the Neolithic age are the following. So we have pottery and polished stone tools. Like this one, ang layo, no? Polish yung mga stone tools compared to the tools of the Mesolithic and the Paleolithic age. Ito talagang makikinis yung mga stone tools nila. Right? Spinning and weaving tools, nanahi sila. They also develop wooden plows and sickles for their agricultural activities. Yan, so yung mga polished stone tools, makinis. Alright? And they also engage in pottery work. Alright? So that's how we characterize the Neolithic age. So what is now the impact of this to our history? So because of the stable food supply, because of the domestication of animals and plants, they have a dependable year-round food supply, and there was division of labor. Some of them were farmers, some of them were fisher folks, some of them engaged in basketry and other activities. And this specialization of activities triggered more inventions and innovations. Alright? So, from here, they flourished, and that led to the development of early civilizations such as the Mesopotamians, we have the Egyptians, the ancient Greeks and Romans. Now, they will overlap with the Bronze Age because the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, they made use of bronze and iron. So, medyo nag-overlap yung civilization sila in this Bronze Age between 2300 BC to 700 BC. So, the Bronze Age, as the name implies, is characterized by the development of metallurgy, by combining copper and tin to make bronze. So, saan nila ginamit yung bronze na yan? So, as jewelry, as tools, and as weapons. Alright, and this is jewelry, bronze jewelry. And they made use of bronze as weapons. Okay? So, its impact on history, stone tools were gradually replaced by metal ones, yung bronze, that enabled humans to alter their environment at a great rate. So, mas bumilis yung progress ng technology during that time because of the use of metals, specifically bronze. Okay, then we have the Iron Age. So, this is between 700 BC to 450 BC. And as the name implies, iron was used as the main metal. So, gumawa na sila ng mga iron chisel, ornamental jewelry, swords, axes, and spearheads. So, this was evident during the Mesopotamian period, Mesopotamian civilization, the Egyptians, the Romans, the Greek civilization. Alright, so nag-overlap ng mga yan. Alright, so that's how we characterize the Iron Age. Yan, the use of iron, as tools and as weapons. Its impact on our history, so because of these iron weapons, there was military dominance for the use of iron weapons. And the use of iron-bladed plows, yan yung dati wooden yung plow Ngayon, yung plow naging metal na, naging iron. And these iron-bladed plows enable humans to plow the fields at nag-increase yung food supply nila. Alright, so that was the impact of those iron-bladed plows on increasing food production. So at this point, let us now go into the details of the different ancient civilizations and their contributions to the progress of science and technology. So we shall start with the contributions of the Mesopotamians. So this will include the Babylonians and the Assyrians. So let us now go into the details of the Mesopotamian civilization and their contributions to science and technology. Now, the Mesopotamians, they actually invented the wheel. Now, we know the extreme importance of the wheel. The wheel has changed the world. And the Mesopotamians invented the wheel, and they used the wheel to make pottery wheels. Now, before, pottery was made out of wet clay, formed by hand. But this time, because of the wheel, umiikot yung clay and they can shape the clay to a much more accurate, probably precise shapes. Alright? And because of the wheel, not goods such as tin and copper and bronze that were imported to Mesopotamia could be transported faster. Bakit? Kasi nakagawa sila ng mga chariots. They used the wheel to make chariots. No, yung may gondola na may gulong na hinihila ng kabayo. And they used that also during wartime, no, in the expansion of the Mesopotamian Empire. So gumawa sila ng mga war chariots. And the wheel also was used in getting water for the irrigation system. So they came up with water wheels that would aid in irrigation. So the Mesopotamians gave us the wheel. So isn't that fascinating? Alright? Mesopotamian engineers used clay tablets to document irrigation systems, city plans, etc. So what I'm trying to point out here is that the Mesopotamians gave us the first system of writing. And that is the cuneiform system of writing. And they made use of these clay tablets, okay, to etch all those alphabet, Mesopotamian alphabet or cuneiform, to document certain activities or events. Even astronomical events was recorded in cuneiform. Why? Because the Mesopotamians, they were fascinated with the night sky. They were fascinated with the changing shape of the moon night to night. Diba? From crescent to first quarter to gibbous to full moon. They were fascinated with the changing shape of the moon. They were also fascinated with the movement of the sun from east to west. And they were fascinated with the stars. In fact, they saw certain patterns in the night sky, patterns of stars that resemble animals and even people. So they gave us the first constellations. So ang mga Mesopotamians, they came up with the first constellations. Alright? And in order to keep track of these heavenly bodies, because of their amazement, these heavenly bodies were revered as gods. In fact, they worshipped the moon. They worship the sun and even the planets, the constellations. In order to keep track of those heavenly bodies, they came up with observatories. Astronomy was a huge part of the Mesopotamian culture. Back then, the priests were the ones who studied the stars. Kasi nga, talagang manghang-mangha sila sa mga heavenly bodies na yan. Alright? They made a 12-month calendar that was based on moon cycles. The priests could predict solstices, yung mga winter and summer solstices, and they were able to produce astronomical tables. And because of that, some of these heavenly bodies were considered as gods, and they constructed temples. These temples were also considered as astronomical observatories. Right? So that's the ziggurat. Alright? So the ziggurat is not only a place of worship, but the ziggurat also is an astronomical observatory. Alright? The astronomer priest of the Mesopotamian civilization observed the night sky on top of ziggurats. So they made use of the ziggurats as an astronomical observatory. And if you will notice, a ziggurat has 7 levels, and each level is dedicated to a particular celestial object. All right, let's say the first level is dedicated to the sun, the second level is dedicated to the moon, the third level would be probably for Mercury. So each level in the ziggurat, there are at least 7 levels. They are dedicated to those celestial objects like the sun, the moon, and the 5 visible planets. And with that, the Mesopotamians, they came up with the 7-day cycle. So the Mesopotamians, they built observatories, that's the ziggurat. The ziggurat has 7 levels, one for each wandering object in the sky, like the sun, the moon, and the 5 visible planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. And because of this, they came up with the 7 days of the week cycle. Alright, so yan yung 7 araw sa isang linggo. Ang mga Mesopotamians ang may gawa niyan. Alright, so like for example, Sunday. Sunday is dedicated to the sun. Yes, Sol. Monday is dedicated to the moon. Alright, Luna, Lunes. Tuesday is dedicated to Tiw, that's the Mesopotamian god, Tiw, T-I-W. And the counterpart of Tiw in Roman mythology is Mars, the god of war. Kaya nga Tuesday is Martes. Wednesday is dedicated to their god Woden. So we have Wednesday. Alright, Woden is the messenger of the god in Roman mythology, that's Mercury. Alright, kaya nga Wednesday is Miyerkules, Mercury. Alright, Thursday is dedicated to the god Thor, the supreme god. In Roman mythology, that's Jupiter. Kaya nga Jueves. Friday is dedicated to the god Frida. So we have Friday, Frida. And Frida is the goddess of beauty. The counterpart of that in Roman mythology is Venus. That's why we have Venus, Viernes. And obviously, Saturday is dedicated to Saturn. So the Mesopotamians gave us the 7 days of the week cycle. So isn't that fascinating? And also, the Mesopotamians, they link their studies of the heavens with religion. And they believe that the positions of the constellations, the positions of the stars would affect their lives. So the Mesopotamians also gave us the zodiac. And saan nila ginamit yung zodiac? The zodiac was used so that they can predict planting and harvesting seasons. So they came up with the zodiac. Alright? So they also gave us the division of the circle into 360 degrees, and again, the cuneiform system of writing, and also the zodiac. The Babylonian engineers also gave us algebra, alright, and they built asphalt-covered roads. And with that, they were able to expand the Mesopotamian Empire. So that's how we characterize the Mesopotamian civilization and the contributions to our history. Alright, so we will end the video here. So in our next video, we shall study the contributions of the Egyptians, the Greeks, and the Romans. So, but before we end, again, don't forget to like and share this video so that we could reach more people, especially the students taking science, technology, and society. And don't forget also to subscribe on my YouTube channel, The Science Guy, Professor Jun Cajigal. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you will be updated on our future videos. So, in our next video, we will study the Egyptian civilization. This is your Space Commander and your Professor, Professor Jun Cajigal, saying live long and prosper. And always remember to always keep your space and always keep looking up. So long for now. See you on our next video.